Hello everybody, it is Lalaine and welcome back to my channel. Today it is time for a book haul. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, then please feel free to do so. I upload every once a year, I think. So yeah, if you're into that, then yeah, please feel free to subscribe. I'm so sorry, but a lot of things have been going on and I filmed this video already, but I was like, not gonna happen. So this is take two. Without further ado, let's get on to the books, shall we? And don't forget to like this video. Give it a thumbs up. Oh, that was the worst wink ever. Dude. So the first book that I bought was, wow, no thank you. It is by Samantha Irby. And I think this woman is amazing. So it is basically a collection of essays about her life when she was younger, her anxiety, her working from her home, and she is just absolutely funny. I love her humor. I could really relate to the anxiety thing and overthinking before you're gonna go out and just rather stay in your pajamas and cozy up instead of going out. And then when you go out, there are 100 things that you think about. I could relate. Almost embarrassing. But there were also parts in this book where I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I had no clue whatsoever. But for what it was, I enjoyed it. And the second book that I bought is A Women Who Run with Wolves. And it is written by Clarissa Pinkola Estate, PhD. And it is such a little pocket. But I think, and from what I've heard on BookTube and on Instagram, this is going to be a mind-blowing book. But this is a book that you just actually have to feel like you're ready for it. And I know right now I'm not ready for it. And Alice Walker says, and she's one of my favorites, Women Who Run with the Wolves isn't just another book. It is a gift of profound insight, wisdom, and love. An oracle from one who knows. It's about our force, our instincts, what we supposed to be, how we portray ourselves. It's just everything about women, and I think this is going to be amazing. But like I said, not ready for it, but I needed to have it in my collection because I was like, this is a book, I'm gonna feel it when I'm ready. And then I got Silver Wings by Camilla Lekberg. If you're into thrillers, if you're into revenge, this is your woman. Like, this author and her revenge it's from a next level because she writes about women finding their powers, finding their strength, finding their inner voice, and they attack back. And this is the second book. The first book was The Golden Cage. I really enjoyed that one. But yeah, revenge, exciting, women in power. This is your book, but don't forget to read the first one first. There's just this one fly that is just zooming around my head. I'm like, I wanna... Kidding, I love every animal and insect on the planet. And this is why I love Instagram, because I follow so many amazing witches. For people who don't know, I'm on my witch journey myself. Since people have like a really weird idea of witches. But anyways, this is the witch. That's a book of self-care, pampering, soothe, and care for your body, mind, and spirit. And it's by Erin Murphy Hissock. And she's also the author of The Green Witch. And I'm not in contact with my shadow sides. And we will dive into that more with another book. This is why I love books. But anyways, I think this will help me to take better care of myself. And there are always ways to improve. And I want to dive into this book and see what I can do to add it to my self-care list. And this is why I love BookTube. This was a book that was in our store for such a long time and I never read the summary or the synopsis. And this is The Deathless Girls by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. This is also the author of The Brides of Dracula, but this is a book for young adult. It was under my nose this whole time. Like, I love vampires. I wish they were real. Oh, everything vampire, just call me, I'm in for it. But yeah, basically two twin sisters, Kizzy and Lil. I don't know why you would name your character Kizzy, but anyways, And they are captured by the cruel Boyar Falkar. Well, Boyar Falkar sounds like a freaking Dracula slash vampire god. Ew, that he captured these women. What is it? The doorbell, people calling me. I'm like, anyways, unknown number. I'm not picking up. Okay, so we were at the part where Boyar is capturing these girls and he's forcing them to work as slaves. And they are striped with hope and power and everything they ever known until Myra, a fellow captive, gives Lil someone to live for. If that doesn't sound thrilling and exciting to you, I don't know what is, but this will be on my TBR for the upcoming months because it's spooky season. Then I picked up another book that I will probably not read until I'm 30 plus, but this is Sacred Women by Queen Afua, and this is about finding the best in yourself, the power, working on your rituals, and just basically your whole essence of being a woman, especially a black woman. And if you just dive into this, there are so many things in here that look like secrets and oof, things I did not know about, and this is deep. This is deep, and that's why I say I want to read this when I'm 30 plus, but this has been on my wish list for over a year, so I was like, you know what? We're just gonna buy it, so you have it. And then we got another cutie. It is Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman, and this used to be like a web graphic novel, but they turned it into a book. So when I saw this, I was like, nah, maybe in the future, but I've seen so many people talk about it in a positive way that I was just like, oh, sometimes I'm so in the mood for a good romance book, not too heavy stuff, and just absolutely enjoy reading whatever I'm reading. And this is Boy Meets Boy. It's basically gonna be a cute love story, and I'm here for it. So the fourth monkey, you have the hearing, seeing, and silence thing that the monkeys always do, and then this is the fourth monkey, aka there's another part to that. I was talking to a colleague when I had to work in the city, and she was just talking about the love for thriller books. I was like, I'm also a thriller lover, and she is like, do you love a little bit gross stuff? And I was like, I've never really read it, but I would love to dive into that more. And she was like, then this is going to be your cup of tea. It was only 11 euros, so I was like, why not? It is by J.D. Barker, but there is a murderer, and he is terrorizing Chicago for the past 5 years. And it is really weird because he's punishing people by kidnapping their children. And after he kidnapped them, the next day the parents received a package with an ear, and the day after that the eyes, and eventually their tongue. And that's why it's, you know, the monkey thing. It sounds really creepy, it sounds really gross, it sounds horrifying, that ooh, you don't even want to think about these things being real, but at the same time I want to read about it. And then I got another light reading, Serial Killers in Their Own Words, and this is written by Christopher Barry D. I love diving into people's minds. That's why I'm so into thrillers, because people are crazy. I just love to know what goes on in people's minds. What do they believe happened when they commit horrible crimes? And I've read one, and it was horrible. That's what I can tell you. It was not something that I would say is a light read. So if you also find this interesting, just know that this is not going to be a book that you're going to read in one sitting, because it has a lot to take in, especially when you hear the murderers share with you what they feel, what they think happened, and why they did what they did. And yeah, it's pretty in your face and confronting, and it has a lot of horrible stuff in it. But I'm all really interested. I love true crime books, so yeah, it's gonna just read one story at a time. And you probably already seen it on my Instagram, but I bought A Midnight Sun by Stephanie Myers. And I can tell you that from what I've read so far, it's on page 21. But I do have to say that I really love hearing his point of view, and he sounds really mature. Of course, he's like a super old freaking vampire. But yeah, the thing is, I noted this series is problematic and yada yada yada. For some reason, I love problematic books. Look at the After series. Look at this. 50 Shades of Grey. It all has issues, 365 days, but I'm just here for it at the same time. That's the thing with me. But why have we never read a book about Jacob? Because so many people were Team Edward or Team Jacob, but we've never had a book from his point of view. That will be something that I will be really interested in to read that, especially since he imprinted himself on the baby of Bella and Edward. It just, I just really wanted to see how that worked out. I cannot even talk about it, but that will make sense to me. This doesn't make sense to me, but I want to read it. But yeah, let me know if you had the same idea as well. Like, why have we never got a book from his point of view? Because he was such a big presence in the Twilight thing. I don't get it. So the next book is Killman Creek by Rachel Kane. This is the second book, and for some reason the second book never turned up in the stores. I went to a lot of stores, I could not find it, but they published the third book, and that was a book in the store. I was like, who is in charge? Because this is not going well. The first book is a book about a woman who discovers that her husband is a crazy serial killer and that he's been doing it in their garage and in a really horrible way. Not just killing people, but it's like really slaughtering them. So he's in jail, but for some reason he's really still trying to control this woman. And from the first page to the last page, it was such a page turner. I was just so thrilled. I read it on script, but I was just like holding my breath so many times because I was like, what's going on? What's going to happen? It was so exciting. So that's why I was like, get me the second book. It was nowhere to be found, only on the internet. I'm glad I got my hands on the second one. I hope it's going to be as exciting, if not even more exciting than the first one. But if you love a page turner, if you love thrilling things, and especially women finding their own powers, finding their own strengths, and just like, do you know that movie Kidnap with Halle Berry? That kind of tension, that kind of strength that a mom has, like, I need to protect my children no matter what. I have no idea why I do this fist. That is this kind of style. So go pick the first one up if you're really into it. And then I picked up a book that has been pretty successful, but I haven't seen it on BookTube, and it is I Travel Alone by Samuel Bjork. People say that if you're into Joe Nesbo, which I love, people say that you're really going to love Samuel Bjork as well. So this is going to be my first experience. I have no idea. Let me tell you what it is about. It's so hard to translate this. Woo. Okay, so a little girl who's 6 years old is being found, and she is hanging from a tree with like a jumping rope, and she is wearing really weird dolly clothes, and there's an airplane label on her neck and it says I travel alone. But because this is so gruesome, they really want the best of the best, and they want Mia on the case, but Mia is depressed. So I think this is going to be very intriguing, very exciting, and hopefully a page turner. But this is the first book in, I think it's a trilogy. So a really good book for the upcoming months. I bought this in a thrift store for €2. Then the next book I picked up, also in the thrift store, is The First Scream by R.L. Stine from the Fear Street series. I have half of a shelf full of these books. I also have Goosebumps, and I really want that box that has like 40 of them in there, because I just absolutely love R.L. Stine's his short, scary stories. They're enjoyable. It's not too spooky. Sometimes it is. I just absolutely love him ever since I was little, and my mom made me not read these books. She was like, no, you're too young for this. But my brother always had them, so I always would go up to his room and steal the Goosebump books. And then when I got older, I started to collect these. So I haven't read this one. It is about a fun fair, and there's an old curse and horrible things happening at the fun fair, and I'm just here for it. Irresistible. Yeah. It's by Fee Keeland and Penelope Ward, so this is not a Dutch book. Let me see what the English title is. Stuck Up Suit. Reminds me of 365 Days. But this is a banter romance, and I'm really into the romance where people banter and make jokes and the girl is just like super feisty. I'm here for it. But Soraya is sitting in the metro and she sees this gorgeous man sitting in front of her, but he is just cocky as fuck. And then he stands up and he leaves his phone, and she's like, so she picks his phone up, and for some reason this gorgeous man was probably super muy importante. His phone is unlocked. I have no idea which person on this planet has an unlocked phone, but clearly he does for the story. So she finds out where he works and she drops off the phone, and then he's saying, well, thank you for delivering my phone. And then eventually they're starting to text more and more and more, and there's a lot of chemistry going on. So I have no idea how this is going to go, but from what I've seen on Instagram, people absolutely left themselves to death with this book. So I love this. Then we have a book that I did buy because it looks really pretty, and when I read the summary I was like, that is up my alley, that is up my alley. And it is a Mexican gothic, and it looks so pretty. He is trying to poison me. You must come for me, Mumi. You have to save me. This is a book that I would really want to read, but now when you ask me, I'm like, I have no idea. I think a woman is in a relationship that is not going as planned. There is something really mysterious and dark going on there. So this Numi, I want to say Noemi, but there's no toot on the E, so Numi is being called to come to rescue the other woman, or at least back her up in her relationship, because that's what we clearly do. But I heard also really mixed reviews eventually when people read it. So I just want to dive into this one just with my own opinion, fresh mind, and I just hope that I'm really going to enjoy it. I did not even say who wrote it, but it is Silvia Moreno Garcia. And then we got Glennon Doyle, Untamed. So I was just nosy and I opened the book and I even highlighted it when I bought it because it really hit me, and I don't have that many times. This is one of the reasons why I love books so much, because I opened it and it was like I was literally reading about myself. She's basically sharing her own story and the issues that she had, and she went to a therapist. I have a coach at the moment, and the therapist was asking her how she was doing, because that's something that they always have to ask. How's life going? Where are you at right now? And she was just like, I'm fine, how are you? And that is exactly who I am. I just really want the world to be positive and bubbly, but that is not reality. I really have to work on my shadow side, because I've been neglecting my shadow side, because she's just like, no, everything is fine, everything is amazing, how are you, da 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 da. And the therapist is just looking at her with sad eyes, and she's just like, don't you see that the way that you're living right now is not even living at all? You're basically half dead, and you're not even really present in the world right now, just because of you trying to be like, oh, everything is fine, everything is da 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 da. Why do you want everything to be fine and amazing and perfect? Why can't you just focus on actually just living, instead of just, I want everything to be absolutely fine and amazing? And that just really hit me. I can remember that I shut down the book and I was like, I don't want to burst out in tears. Especially the last sentence that the girl says, aka the author, is like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And that is me 100%. Like, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but at the same time I'm like, ooh, I feel called out. Like I said, ignoring your shadow sides can do more harm than it would do good to you as a human being. And so that's something that I've been focusing on, really standing in the emotions that I have and really trying to speak out and speak up and letting my boundaries come across. That is going to be a really beautiful addition to my self-love journey. I just really want to get everything out of my experience as a human being. So, anyways, let's get on to the last book. That is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I talked about this author in my thriller recommendations, and that was A Bright Neon book, and it is called The Hunting Party. I always say Hunting Game, but it's The Hunting Party, and that was her debut. Fantastic. The whodunit style is something that I absolutely love. So for her, and this is even the book of the month, to come with this cover, I'm pissed. I'm mad. When I saw this, I did not even recognize that it was a book by her. So I sort of guessed this. Meh. I walked to buy it like 20 times, and then I was like, "Ooh, that's a new book." So I picked it up, and I was like, "What? This was on my wish list, and this is the cover that they come up with?" It looks so dull and so dead and so, I just ugly. But anyways, let's just talk about what it's really about. Each has a secret, each has a motive. Off the windswept Irish coast, guests gather for the wedding of the year. Old friends, past grudges, happy families, hidden jealousies, and 30 guests and one body. One guest won't leave this wedding alive. Again, a whodunit at a party. A lot of grudges and hidden things and secrets, and I'm all here for it. So I picked it up anyways. I really want to read it, but I hope you can understand why I'm just so disappointed, because I'm really a cover lover. I really judge book by their covers, and I'm so sorry. This doesn't do her writing style justice. Yeah, it makes me sad. But anyways, these were the books that I bought for the past few months. I hope you like this video. Let me know if there's any book that you want to read or that you've read, and if you have like spooky tips for the upcoming months, let me know. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video, whenever that will be. Bye.